For more, we're joined now by Michael Bociurkiw. He is a global affairs analyst and the former spokesman for the Organization for Security and Cooperation in Europe. Thanks so much for joining us, Michael.
My pleasure, Natalie.
All right, first, I want to get your reaction to this story about the possible surveillance of a former U.S. ambassador, and it allegedly involves Mr. Giuliani, Mr. Parnas, and perhaps a Republican member of the House, Mr. Nunes.
Well, as I told your colleague Michael Holmes the other day, I don't think Hollywood could have scripted this any better. It gets more bizarre by the day. But look, you know, this is as much as we like to read about this and the drama and everything. At the end of the day, I mean, it does appear more and more that the United States, which is, of course, a traditional ally of Ukraine, did threaten not only President Zelensky, but former President Poroshenko, in order to dig up dirt on the Bidens. And, you know, to Ukraine, this is, I don't know if I would use the word they're angry. I think they're more hurtful and bewildered by what is going on because, you know, not only does Ukraine depend on that bipartisan support, but it also depends on the White House being a close ally when it goes, for example, to negotiate with Russia to bring peace to eastern Ukraine. And without that backing or that implicit backing, it's at a very big disadvantage. Natalie, I spoke the day before yesterday in London with Foreign Minister Bociurkiw from Ukraine, and he said that our main goal right now is to keep that strong bipartisan support. And in terms of investigations, well, it's still conjecture and rumor, but if there is any substance to what was said by Parnas, then we will look into it.
Right, and we also know that the president, Mr. Zelensky, is lamenting that phone call where he picked it up and President Trump was on the other end. This is a new president that no doubt had any idea what he might be walking into. So how is he holding up in this? How was he able to lead during this mess?
Well, it was, I think that he was put to the test very early over all of this, how to handle it. I think he was going really on the fly. But, you know, it hasn't really damaged him at home. His popularity ratings are still very high. And, you know, Natalie, once again, he's being put to the test amid all of this, what's happening in the United States with that tragic crash of the Ukrainian airliner. He's really seen to have stepped up to the plate and dealing with, you know, something that deals with many, many different countries. So not much damage there, but, you know, with every day of the new revelations, you never know what's around the corner.
Right. And with the possible spying on Yovanovitch, this is being carried out by an investigation there in Ukraine. So they have to put resources on that, while we know that the State Department is investigating as well. So it becomes even more complex. I also want to add, could this information that we're learning in this story impact the impeachment trial, and what impact is this having on Ukraine's ability, you mentioned Russia, to be able to focus on its most important need, and that is to make sure it is independent of Russia and keeps Russia at bay?
Right. Well, you know, your second question there about Russia and its involvement, look, they have very, very deep tentacles in Ukraine. And that's why there's not only one investigation in terms of alleged spying on Yovanovitch, but also into the possible hacking of Burisma, the firm that Hunter Biden was apparently involved with. So the Ukrainians have asked for additional resources from the FBI to find what happened there, but it wouldn't be unusual for Russia to be hacking in. And then, yeah, in terms of the way forward for Ukraine, I mean, it's not only negotiating for gas contracts with Russia, it's not only negotiating for finally a ceasefire in eastern Ukraine, but many other things which touch upon their bilateral relations. So the last thing they need right now, and this is what Foreign Minister Bociurkiw told me as well, is to be distracted by this. They really need it, once again, that strong U.S. support. And if they don't get it, Natalie, I think what's going to happen is you'll see them leaning more on European allies who they're closer to, who perhaps they trust more and can get things done without the drama that one gets with Washington these days.
Well, you can't blame them for that, can you not? Michael Bociurkiw, we really appreciate you joining us and for your insights. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.